It's probably the most unique abandoned place in Rhode Island, and it sits on one of the most well-traveled highways in the state. This thing is an abandoned icon that almost everyone has seen, and this isn't even where it originally stood. That's right, this whole thing was actually moved here on the back of a truck. Welcome to the abandoned Milk Can Creamery. The 32-foot tall bottle was built in 1931 at a time when every roadside business was looking for a creative way to entice passing motorists to stop and spend money. Wacky architecture, formerly known as roadside vernacular architecture, was one such marketing ploy. Businesses were betting on the fact that, seen from a distance, travelers could quickly get a sense of what was being offered. Personally, my favorite is the donut hole in California, because if I can't drive through my food before I eat it, then I don't want it. It can be said that the Milk Can is a survivor of that trend, but only kind of. It still exists, but it's not being preserved, it's a long way from being operational, and, as of right now, it's abandoned. It was constructed in 1931 for Charles Plant and started its life as part of an ice cream stand, literally called the Milk Can. It was purchased from Charles by Joseph Mariani in 1947. At that time, it was still just an ice cream stand with takeout windows and picnic table seating. Mariani expanded the business to offer short-order food like burgers and fried clams. The seasonal business operated from late March to November. Mariani's son, also named Joe, in a 2008 Valley Breeze article, recalled working there from 1955 to 1965. They'd be so busy in the summer, he said, that there was no set closing time. We'd stay open until business waned. Sometimes we'd be scooping ice cream at 2 a.m., especially on hot nights when people couldn't sleep. I used to get calluses on my hands from all that scooping. It was clear that business was booming and people loved the Milk Can. But the good times came to an end in 1968 with the death of Joe Sr.'s wife. The stand was closed and never reopened. Now is a good time to bring up what I mentioned earlier, that while this is the original Milk Can, this isn't its original location. Its first home was actually about a mile down the road where routes 99, 146, and 295 all link up today. Around 1977, before all this was here, stood the Milk Can, right where the overpass for Route 99 is. The state acquired the property by eminent domain with plans to demolish it and get these on-ramps built. So, why didn't that happen? First, the State Historical Preservation Commission took notice and planned to nominate the building for a listing in the National Register of Historic Places, hoping the designation would help save it. The demo was stalled, and the state decided to auction off the Milk Can and have the entire structure moved. This June 1986 article from the Providence Journal mentioned that officials will look over all the sites and decide which is most suitable. In 1986, there were 4 bidders who wanted this Milk Can. Let's check out their offers. First, $100 offer from the city of Pawtucket, who wanted to place it in a riverfront park between Exchange and Division Streets. Second, a $500 bid from Gaetano Truppa, who wanted to kick the can a quarter mile up the road to a lot on Reservoir Road. Third, a bid of $1,001 from Stanley Sertel and Frank DeAndrea, who wanted to move the can a mile up the road on the other side of the highway. Fourth, the winning bid of $4,000 by Ronald T. LaRiviere, who planned to relocate the Milk Can to Slater Park in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. But the Pawtucket City Council shot down the idea, citing legal problems with allowing LaRiviere to move the private building to city land. Pawtucket City Councilor Kevin Rabbitt said, "We welcome the Milk Can to Pawtucket, but not in Slater Park. There are just too many problems with that right now." Unable to find a new location by the state-appointed deadline, the possession of the Milk Can then went to the next highest bidder, our boys Stanley Sertel and Frank DeAndrea, who would move the Milk Can a mile up the road to its current home and reopen it as the hottest, or coldest, ice cream shop in northern Rhode Island. The move required the cooperation of 3 government agencies: DOT, which was to pay a portion of the moving cost, the Historic Preservation Commission, which was overseeing the safe handling of the structure, and the Federal Highway Administration, which was paying the majority of the moving cost since the highway project displacing the can was federal. On January 8th, 1989, Eastman Brothers Movers of East Greenwich moved the can a mile up the road horizontally on a specially built cradle. It was estimated that it took 3 hours to drain all the milk from inside the can before being able to move it. In 1990, after the relocation and a $50,000 restoration of the milk can, the new owners hit a massive roadblock, this one big enough to shut down the entire operation. It was reported in a Providence Journal article in April 1990 that the state had informed Sertel and D'Andrea that groundwater beneath the still unopened can is highly contaminated by unleaded gasoline compounds, including benzene, a known carcinogen. Levels of that additive were highest at the milk can, which was also the only site where benzene had been detected, and at 600 times the maximum considered safe for drinking. According to another article in the Providence Journal, the well supplying the water was drilled 10 months after the milk can was moved, so this was a surprise to everyone. Preservationists were horrified to learn that the milk can was standing on contaminated land. Co-owner Stanley Sertel was so upset by the news that he had trouble sleeping for a week. "I was waking up every day at 3 o'clock in the morning with pains in my arms and legs from being nervous," he said. It was too much to handle, and unable to secure a clean source of water, the milk can remained closed through 1990 and every year since. It has now been vacant longer than it was in operation. What's next for the milk can? In 2012, the previously contaminated groundwater was retested following a 20-year remediation and found to comply with federal and state water quality standards. In 2018, Stephen D'Andrea, grandson of the last owner, was in talks with municipal and state authorities about developing the milk can and the surrounding property into commercial space. "I'm really just trying to continue what my grandfather had started and wasn't able to finish and get it back online," D'Andrea told the Valley Breeze. Development talks have been quiet lately, but seeing as it's still owned by the same family and there's a vision to reopen, I'm hopeful for its future. Even in its current shape, it's still a Rhode Island icon, so the next time you drive by on Route 146 and see the can, pour out some milk in honor of a bygone era and hope something positive happens here. To see more interesting Rhode Island icons like this and learn about their history, you can check out the rest of my videos on my channel right now. Thank you very much for watching.